Well, welcome again to Life at All Saints, Living in Faith Every Day. Today I have Erik Morris joining me, and I'm happy to be interviewing him. So we'll dive in. And again, these videos are talking all about stewardship, the giving of time and talents that happens at All Saints, things that often go on behind the scenes, often unthanked, often unnoticed, but vital to ministry in this church. And so, Erik, thank you for sitting with me today. And I wanted to begin by asking you how long you've been a member at All Saints.
So I was baptized at All Saints in 92, and then my family moved down to Cincinnati in 94. I graduated high school in Cincinnati area, moved up to Columbus to go to Capital. After graduating from Capital, the congregation that my family goes to in Cincinnati, one of the pastors recommended I look at L.I.F.E. I liked it there, but it was like, I don't know if it's quite the fit. And then I came here one Sunday in August of 2014. Martin Williamson is who saw me and was like, oh, you could do this sound thing. And that's how I kind of got into that. And so I actually started helping out on sound and then got involved in the youth group. And I don't think I actually became a member until 2015, 2016.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's an interesting path. And I like how you noted, too, it was someone, in this case, Martin Williamson, who kind of made that effort to invite you in a little bit into involvement and participation. And I think we often forget that it's the smallest thing that can pull someone in and make them more active or make them feel welcome and a part of the community. Yeah. So, well, what I wanted to say to you too is when I think of, if I was to look up a textbook definition of what it means to be a faithful, active member of a church, I would think of you, or someone that has all the qualities that you have.
Well, thank you.
You've served in so many ways here, and I kind of want to highlight some of that, but actually I want to let you highlight it. I'd like you to tell all of us about the ways that you've served, committees, groups, events, trips that you've gone on, and how you still are actively serving.
So, I think I've already mentioned sound. So I got involved in the sound booth at both traditional and contemporary worship services. So started out traditional with Martin, and then eventually got into the contemporary. Alex saying, hey, we're short-staffed. Can you help out? He was like, it's easier in some spots because I have everything set up. So all you got to do is push a few buttons, and it's pretty simple. So if anyone wants to join, you're more than welcome to help out. For other things, so eventually I got involved in teaching Sunday school. Started out, I think, with 4th grade, and that rolled up to 5th grade and then rolled up to middle school. So I stayed with that grade for, now that they're in high school, they're now like juniors in high school. So I've been with them for a while now. Definitely gotten to witness their growth and development in that way. Stayed with middle school for regular Sunday school teaching. All Saints, we used to have a ministry called the Justice Ministry. That kind of transformed into something different, into the refugee ministry. And so my basement is the storage place for a lot of the donations that All Saints delivers. And so it gets warehoused in my basement until we get a family that comes, and then all of a sudden stuff comes out. I always like it when stuff leaves.
Oh yeah, I bet you do.
It's like every weekend I come check the bin, bring stuff into my house, and then the Glasgows come over. It started off with George Schmidt, getting that going again. The Glasgows said we've had it before, which they would know better than me. I wasn't around at that time. But we, every so often, have a family that comes and the organization reaches out to us and says, hey, can you bring basically a kit? And there's all sorts of items that get collected.
Well, see, I'm learning something. I had no idea. We all tend to see those bins on Sunday
Yes.
in one of the former coat closets,
Yes.
and you don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
I always assume someone picks it up and it gets mailed out
Yeah.
to an organization. But little did I know it lives in your basement.
Well, some stuff
some of it
does.
does. So, but that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has been most meaningful to you then, of all the things that you've served in and on and with? What stands out to you as kind of highlights that have really been meaningful to you?
So with the Justice Ministry, we used to do like a cookout basically with First English down towards like Nationwide Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And we would do that like once a year, but they have them like at least once a month through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always enjoyed it because it was
Mm-hmm.
like it's something completely different.
Yeah.
It's kind of a all hands on deck type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've just always enjoyed helping out in that way, in that regard. I've been on a few trips with the high school youth group. Some of them have been great. There have been moments that are like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
What did I get myself
Yes,
into?
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like now looking back on them, it's always a bonding experience that you have. So
Right.
you can always make fun of the craziness that
Yeah.
happened at a certain time.
Excellent, thank you. So that's what's benefited you as a person. Let's talk about your spirituality then. How has it deepened all these ways that you've been involved in all these young people that you've worked with and committees and picnics that you've helped with and all these? How has it deepened your faith in God, do you think?
So I think the big thing to kind of keep in mind is always like God's love. So, and like we tasked with sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked at two summers. I worked at Camp Moana, and there was a skit that we used to always do where like a person receives God's love and they act like they're so excited to have it. And then they kind of keep it to themselves, and like other people come up and like are asking, oh, what do you have? Can I see what you have? And like the person like asks, like doesn't want to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they realize it's slowly fading away. And so they're kind of overwhelmed. And then some like angel or something comes and like tells them, no, like you're supposed to share it.
Mm-hmm. That's how you keep it lit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
so he passes it to someone that comes along, and it's all of a sudden bigger and it's grown.
Yeah. You know what I'm hearing too, Erik, is faith is something that has been embedded and weaved into your life from a young age.
Yeah.
Your mom and dad have obviously raised you in the faith, and you've stayed active with it. You're an example, I think, of what when we talk about like a baptismal calling or remembering your baptism. It's something that's kind of tough to articulate.
Right.
But being involved at camp, working at camp, learning about your faith, staying active in church, serving, then teaching Sunday school, going on youth mission trips. This is all part of what we call a baptismal calling. You know, it's about being part of the body of Christ, and then letting that faith grow within you, but then like with the skit, spread beyond you.
Right.
So awesome. That's so good. Why do you believe then, at this point in your life and faith, why do you believe it's so important to give back to church and to community? And I ask that because a lot of people, I think it's easy to attend church on a Sunday and just leave and I'll see you in a week.
Right.
Far fewer people make church kind of a weekly, daily, active part of their lives.
Right.
But you have. You've taken it beyond sitting in a pew and singing some hymns. Why do you think it's important to take that next step and be involved?
So I've always felt like church is, like, there's a lot of discussion, at least there was like pre-COVID, about like a third space. And so I feel like church really is that third space for me. So like you have work, you have
Mm-hmm.
home,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's a third space. Like pre-pandemic, there was all this conversation,
Yeah.
especially about like Starbucks or like a library or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, where's your third space? And for
Mm.
me, I've always felt like church is like, it's in essence a second home,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's easier.
Well, and that's a good metaphor. I think probably a lot of people would say I have like 5 to 6
Yeah,
spaces.
yeah,
And the sad thing is, church may not be one of them.
yeah,
The soccer field may be, Starbucks may be, you know, but yeah, church kind of gets moved down the totem pole. But yeah, I think that's a really good way of thinking of one's life. You have family, you have home, you have work, but then you have this need there to connect with God too.
right,
And some people attempt to kind of squeeze that in amidst work and home. But if we could all think about life as having kind of that third space,
right.
yeah, I think that would lead us all to a deeper connection to God. So, well, I think we'll conclude with that. But I want to thank you, Erik, for all that you do for All Saints, for your faith, your witness in this place, and being so active here. May it continue for many more years, and I look forward to being a part of it with you.
Well,
So,
thank you for coming to All
yeah,
Saints.
well, and I should mention too. Then we'll conclude with that. Erik was a part of my call committee that called me as associate pastor, and the one thing I wanted to say about that too, now that I'm thinking about it, is I've noticed every member of the call committee who called me, I see them living out. That wasn't just a role that you took on. I see every member of the call committee living out their faith week in and week out, from playing in the band at the gathering, to being on the soundboard, to serving on an endowment fund committee, to serving on council. All Saints is special, and that its members live out their faith in very visible, tangible ways. So thank you for all that you do. And with that, we'll conclude this segment of Life at All Saints, Living in Faith Every Day. Thank you continually for viewing, and we'll see you on the next video.